When the rescue team rushed the injured dog into the clinic, they braced for the miracle of new life. After weeks of careful tending, she was finally giving birth. But what emerged from her trembling body wasn't puppies. Their size was wrong, too compact, too dense. Their fur wasn't soft and downy, but coarse and strangely metallic to the touch. And the sounds they made. Faint, rhythmic hums instead of whimpers. The vet's hands shook as she lifted the first one, her breath catching in her throat. Within seconds, she ordered everyone out of the room. What she saw wasn't just unnatural, it was classified. Stay until the end. The truth will leave you speechless. If your heart's already racing, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell. These stories only grow when you share them. And hey, drop your country name in the comments. I read every single one, and it amazes me how far these stories travel. Rain lashed against the shelter windows as the last light of dusk vanished behind the trees. Inside, the staff prepared to lock up for the night when the screech of tires shattered the quiet. A rusted pickup skidded to a halt, and a man stumbled out, eyes wide with panic. Without a word, he yanked open the back door, and there she was. A German shepherd lay curled on a soaked blanket, ribs visible beneath matted fur, her amber eyes clouded with exhaustion. But beneath the pain was something else, a quiet, desperate plea. Found her by the highway, the man whispered. Wouldn't move. I think she's pregnant. Linda, the shelter manager, sprang into action. Get a stretcher. Call Dr. Carter, now. Volunteers rushed forward, moving with urgent care. As they lifted the trembling dog, a soft, heart-wrenching whine escaped her throat, a sound so raw it silenced even the most hardened among them. In the medical room, antiseptic hung in the air. Dr. Carter arrived minutes later, kneeling beside her. Easy, girl, he murmured, stroking her head. Her eyes locked onto his, fearful, yet trusting. A quick exam confirmed it. She was pregnant, and labor was imminent. She's been through hell, he said grimly. Malnourished, dehydrated. But she's holding on. Linda gently brushed the dog's ear. We'll name her Raven, she said softly. Because she rose from ashes. For the first time in what felt like forever, Raven closed her eyes, not in fear, but in relief. She was safe, or so they thought. Outside, the wind howled again, carrying with it a chill that made Dr. Carter pause. Something about this rescue felt different. This dog hadn't just survived. She'd brought a secret with her. The first night after Raven's arrival was unnervingly silent. Usually, the shelter buzzed with the comforting sounds of animals settling in, soft barks, rustling hay, distant purrs. But around Raven's kennel, there was only stillness. She lay curled on her blanket, amber eyes fixed on the hallway door, unmoving. Linda checked on her hourly. She hasn't touched her food, she told Dr. Carter, worry etching her voice. He crouched beside the kennel. Raven, it's okay. You're safe now. But the dog didn't react. Her ears twitched. Her gaze never wavered. Then, without warning, she let out a low, protective growl, deep, warning, primal. Dr. Carter glanced down the empty corridor. Nothing was there. She's sensing something, he murmured. Either trauma, or something we can't see. By morning, her behavior grew stranger. When volunteers tried to clean her space, Raven blocked a corner of the kennel, growling softly at anyone who came near. She acted as if she were already guarding pups, though none had been born. She's hiding something, said Mia, a young volunteer. That night, the shelter's security footage flickered. In the grainy video, Raven paced, then froze, ears perked, nose lifted, tail stiff. She pressed her body against the bars, whining as if calling to someone beyond the walls. At dawn, Linda found her still awake, still staring at the same spot. She didn't sleep at all, Linda whispered, arms crossed against the cold. What is she waiting for? Thunder rolled across the sky as storm clouds swallowed the moon. Rain hammered the roof, and lightning flashed, casting ghostly shadows through the kennels. Most animals had fallen silent, but not Raven. She paced in tight circles, breathing fast, tail rigid with anxiety. Every crack of thunder made her flinch. Linda watched her on the security monitor, heart pounding. She's getting worse, she muttered, grabbing her coat. When she opened the medical room door, a sharp bark echoed down the hall, not angry, but pained. Dr. Carter, she shouted. Minutes later, he arrived, soaked from the storm. One look at Raven, and his face turned grave. She's going into labor. Too soon. They scrambled to prepare blankets, towels, sterile tools. Raven lay down, trembling, eyes wide with fear. Linda knelt beside her, stroking her back. "You're safe, sweetheart." But Raven didn't relax. Her breath came in frantic gasps. Then, a deep groan. The first contraction. Hours crawled by. Midnight approached. The storm raged outside. Raven pushed with everything she had, her body weak from starvation and trauma. Dr. Carter whispered encouragement. "You can do this, girl." Then, a faint squeak. Linda's heart leapt. She did it. But as Dr. Carter lifted the newborn, his joy vanished. The shape was wrong. Fur too dark, limbs too short, body unnaturally heavy. "Wait," he whispered. Before he could react, another came. Then another. 6 in total. None looked like puppies. They were silent, still, then moved in eerie unison. Lightning flashed. Dr. Carter's face went pale. Something's wrong. Raven curled around them, tears glistening in her eyes as she nuzzled each one. Linda stepped back, voice trembling. "What are they?" He couldn't answer, only stared into the storm-lit room, dread coiling in his chest. "I don't know, but they're not puppies." The room hung thick with tension. Only the hum of the ceiling fan broke the silence as Dr. Carter leaned closer, gloves trembling. The newborns lay huddled under a heat lamp, small, gray, unnervingly quiet. Their limbs were stubby, fur dense and charcoal black, breathing barely audible. "Are they even alive?" Linda whispered. He pressed a stethoscope to one tiny chest. "Yes, but their hearts beat too slow." He shone a light on its face. Nose flat, ears underdeveloped, paws lined with faint ridges where claws should be. "This isn't deformity," he muttered. "This is design." Raven whimpered, curling tighter around them. Fearful, yet fiercely protective. "Could it be malnutrition?" Linda asked. He shook his head. "Their bone structure. It's altered. I've seen this before, years ago, near the research district. Labs experimenting with hybrid immunity. They shut down after public outrage. But this..." He trailed off, staring at the pups. "These markings. They're breathing. It fits." Thunder shook the walls. Raven licked her young, as if sensing danger. "You think she escaped one of those labs?" Linda whispered. He didn't answer. His silence said everything. Then, in a flash of lightning, one pup opened its eyes, and they glowed faintly in the dark. Dr. Carter froze. "Dear God, what have they done to you?" By morning, the storm had passed, but fear had taken root. Whispers spread through the shelter like wildfire. Grace's kennel was sealed off, her litter under watch. Linda stood at reception, pen tapping nervously. "We can't hide this forever," she said. Dr. Carter, exhausted, rubbed his temples. "We have to, until we understand what they are." But rumors spiraled. One volunteer swore the pups glowed under the lamp. Another claimed she heard one hiss. Fear infected everyone, even the animals. Cats refused food. Dogs barked wildly near Raven's room. When Dr. Carter walked the hall, conversations died. "Everyone, stay calm," he announced. "The German Shepherd gave birth prematurely. The pups are unique, but stable. No danger." But the word unique only deepened suspicion. "Are they even dogs?" Someone muttered. His patience snapped. "No one enters that room without me." That evening, Raven was moved to the isolation wing, a cold, dim space once used for quarantined animals. As the door locked, she lifted her head, ears twitching, letting out a low, trembling whine, as if warning them all. Moving her was a mistake. Outside, Dr. Carter turned to Linda. "No one enters unless I'm present. Whatever's happening, it's only beginning." The next morning, the isolation wing felt colder than ever. Dr. Carter entered, clipboard in hand, Linda close behind. Raven lifted her head instantly, alert, wary, muscles coiled beneath her fur. She didn't growl, but her eyes followed every move. "Easy, girl," he said softly. "I'm not here to hurt them." He approached the incubator. 6 gray pups lay motionless, breathing in perfect sync, too perfect. He checked vitals, temperature stable, heart rate slow, respiration shallow. When he reached for one, Raven growled softly. Linda knelt beside her. "It's okay, Raven. He's helping." Under the light, Dr. Carter spotted tiny scars near the pup's neck, symmetrical, surgical. "Look at this," he said quietly. "These aren't natural." Linda gasped. You mean someone operated on them? Before birth? He nodded grimly. In utero modification. Advanced work. He drew blood, and the liquid shimmered faintly, dark and metallic. That's impossible, he whispered. Then, as he shone a penlight into one pup's eyes, the pupils contracted and glowed blue for a split second. Linda saw it too. What are they? Before he could answer, the pup emitted a low harmonic hum. The glass incubator vibrated. Raven barked once, sharp and defensive. The sound stopped. Dr. Carter lowered his light, heart pounding. We're not dealing with nature. Someone made these. Linda's voice trembled. Made them? For what? He looked at Raven, watching him with intelligent, wary eyes. For something we were never meant to find. Sleep was impossible. Dr. Carter returned to the isolation wing long after midnight, drawn by dread and curiosity. The shelter was silent. Raven stirred as he entered, ears perked, eyes sharp. Just one more check, he whispered. She didn't growl, but tension radiated from her frame. The pups slept, chests rising in eerie unison. He examined each carefully. On the third, he felt something hard beneath the skin near the shoulder. Frowning, he made a tiny incision, and a silver disc glinted under the lamp. Linda, who'd followed silently, gasped. What is that? He extracted it with tweezers. A microchip, but unlike any he'd seen. Engraved, Project Nyx, Specimen N7. The name struck a chord. Years ago, he'd heard whispers of a covert program engineering animals for extreme resilience, disease, radiation, cold. Shut down after a fire. She wasn't part of it, he said quietly, watching Raven. She escaped it. She whined, nudging a pup closer. If this came from a government lab, he murmured, we're in danger. Outside, thunder rumbled again, soft, but foreboding. This wasn't just a birth. It was a reckoning. The next morning, the shelter moved like ghosts. Volunteers whispered in corners, eyes darting toward the isolation wing. Dr. Carter sat in his office, the chip resting beside his computer. Linda entered with coffee. You've been here all night. He nodded, ran the serial through every database. Nothing, except this. He showed her a faded logo, a stylized H in a hexagon. Helios Research. Shut down 8 years ago for animal rights violations. They tested cross-species DNA therapy, trying to engineer immune systems that could resist anything. He pulled up a declassified file. Grainy photos showed cages, shaved dogs, cold metal tables. Then, a familiar face, a German shepherd with amber eyes, labeled N7. That's her, he whispered. Raven. The file said all subjects died in a fire. Clearly, one survived. She's been alone all these years, Linda said, tears in her eyes. And now, she's given birth to something carrying that same genetic mark. Dr. Carter stared out the window. If the government learns she's alive, they'll come. They won't see living beings, they'll see data. Raven's soft whine echoed from down the hall, as if she understood. Linda's voice broke. What do we do? He met her gaze. We protect them, no matter the cost. Outside, lightning split the sky. The storm around Raven's past had only just begun. Tension choked the shelter. Volunteers avoided the isolation wing. Even dogs barked uneasily when Raven's scent drifted through vents. Linda stood in the break room, mug cold in her hands. 2 volunteers whispered nearby. Those things aren't normal, one said. They don't cry. They don't eat. It's wrong. Linda slammed her mug down. They're just babies. They didn't ask for this. But inside, she wondered, what if they're dangerous? What if they grow up? In the isolation room, Raven lay with her pups pressed to her chest. She hadn't eaten much, but her strength returned. When Dr. Carter entered, she didn't growl, only watched him with silent caution. He sat on a stool, exhaustion in every line of his face. You didn't ask for this either, did you? You just wanted peace. She tilted her head slightly, as if understanding. Linda entered behind him, tray of food in hand. Staff are scared. Some want to call animal control. Dr. Carter stood sharply. They can't. If they do, the wrong people will hear. Those labs, they might still be out there. Linda's eyes filled. So what do we do? Hide them forever. He exhaled. Just long enough for me to find who's behind Project Nyx. Until then, we protect them. Outside, sunset painted the corridor in orange and shadow. Linda whispered, the others see monsters. I see a mother fighting for her children. Dr. Carter nodded. And that's why we can't let the world take them. Raven looked up, golden eyes glistening. For a moment, fear faded. Hope flickered in its place. It began with a phone call. Early morning, the landline rang. Linda answered, expecting an adoption inquiry. Instead, a cold, official voice said, Dr. Carter, please. This is Agent Reyes, Department of Agricultural and Biotechnical Affairs. We've received an anonymous tip about unregistered animal birth with biohazard indicators. A team is en route. The line went dead. Linda's blood ran cold. She sprinted to Dr. Carter's office. They know. Outside, black vans pulled up, men in dark uniforms stepping out, biosecurity units stitched on their jackets. Chaos erupted. Volunteers gathered as agents fanned out, badges flashing. We've received reports of genetically modified specimens, Agent Reyes announced. All animals are to be secured. Dr. Carter stepped forward. These are rescues, not experiments. Reyes' voice was flat. That depends on what we find. He motioned to two agents. Isolation wing. Now. Linda and Dr. Carter exchanged terrified glances and rushed ahead. Raven sensed them instantly. Boots echoed down the hall. She stood, growling, body shielding her pups. Agents pushed past, scanners raised. The devices beeped wildly. Confirmed anomalous genetic signatures. Level 3 classification. Reyes turned sharply. Where did these come from? Rescued from the streets, Dr. Carter said, voice shaking. We didn't know. Our data says otherwise, Reyes cut in. These match Project Nyx. Raven barked fiercely, a sound that shook the walls. Sedate her, Reyes ordered. No, Linda shouted. Before agents could act, Raven lunged, not to attack, but to protect. Her growl made even Reyes flinch. Dr. Carter realized too late. Their secret was now national interest. And Raven's fight had only just begun. The room exploded into chaos. Boots slammed tile. Raven's bark echoed like thunder. Her fur bristled as she stood between her pups and the advancing agents. Tranquilizer rifles raised. Stand down, Dr. Carter yelled. Reyes didn't blink. That animal is aggressive and classified. Neutralize her. Raven's growl deepened, a primal rumble that made agents hesitate. Her eyes darted between her babies and the intruders. Every instinct screamed, they mean harm. She backed toward the incubator, nudging pups closer to the wall, her body a living shield. Dr. Carter stepped in front of Reyes. Please. She's not violent. She's terrified. Let me handle this. Reyes' jaw tightened. Move aside, doctor. Linda's voice cracked. You're pointing guns at a mother protecting newborns. An agent fired. The dart missed, embedding in the wall. Raven lunged, not to bite, but to drive them back. The sudden movement startled the team. One stumbled into a tray of instruments. Metal clattered like a warning siren. Seizing the moment, Raven grabbed a pup gently in her jaws and bolted for the side door. Stop her, Reyes shouted. But Linda had already pulled the emergency lever. Steel doors hesitated just long enough. Raven slipped through and vanished into the storm. Linda fell to her knees. She's gone. Dr. Carter stood in the rain, soaked and shaking. No, he said softly, staring into the darkness. She's protecting them. The only way she knows how. Behind them, Reyes' voice cut through the downpour. Then we'll find her. But Dr. Carter knew one truth. Raven would never let them. Not while her heart still beat. The storm raged through the night. Rain soaked the earth as lightning revealed Raven darting between trees, pup clutched in her jaws. Behind her, engines roared. Agents fanned out with flashlights and thermal scanners. At the shelter, chaos reigned. Reyes barked orders into radios. Dr. Carter and Linda stood near the gate, faces pale. She won't survive out there, Linda whispered. You don't understand, he replied. She's been hunted before. In the forest, Raven moved like a shadow. Rain masked her scent. She found a hollow beneath an oak, hidden by roots. Gently, she laid the pup down, licking its face before curling around it. Her breathing was ragged, but her eyes stayed sharp. Flashlights swept nearby. An agent paused feet from her hiding spot. Then thunder startled birds, and he turned away. Raven waited until silence returned. She nuzzled her pup, body weak, but spirit unbroken. Back at the shelter, Dr. Carter traced a map. She'll head to the river, to mask her scent. Linda's voice trembled. Then what do we do? He looked up, eyes determined. We find her before they do. Far in the woods, lightning illuminated Raven trudging forward, not just carrying a pup, but the hope of survival for them all. Morning came gray and misty. Dr. Carter and Linda pushed through dripping trees, flashlights cutting fog. She's been out here all night, Linda said. She has to be exhausted. He nodded. There's a creek ahead. She'll go there. Distant radio chatter meant agents weren't far. Then, a whimper. Soft, fragile. They followed it to a clearing. Beneath a fallen oak lay Raven, curled around her litter. Mud streaked her fur. One pup lay still. Another squirmed weakly. Linda gasped, tears falling. Raven lifted her head, tired, weary, but not afraid. She recognized them. Dr. Carter crouched slowly. Raven, it's me. You're safe. Let me help. She looked at the lifeless pup, nudged it gently, then let out a mournful whine. So human, so raw. It shattered the silence. Linda sobbed. She's been trying to save them. Dr. Carter pulled out a blanket and syringe. I can help, but we're out of time. Radio static crackled closer. Raven's ears twitched. She looked from the trees to Dr. Carter, then nudged her surviving pup toward him. An act of trust deeper than words. He swallowed hard. Good girl, he whispered, eyes glistening. I've got you. As he lifted the pup, peace flickered in Raven's eyes, because she knew, finally, she wasn't alone. Dr. Carter held the pup like something sacred, its breath shallow but steady. Linda wrapped it in a blanket, hands trembling. Raven watched, desperate but calm. From the woods, voices grew louder, agents closing in. We're out of time, Linda whispered. If they find us, they'll take her. Dr. Carter's mind raced. He looked at Raven, the mother who'd fought soldiers, storms, and starvation for her babies. In that moment, everything he knew about control and ownership shattered. This wasn't an experiment. This was life refusing to die. He crouched beside her. Raven, they made you to be a tool, but you became something stronger. You became a mother. She tilted her head, panting softly, eyes glistening. Linda placed a hand on his shoulder. We can't save them all. I know, he murmured. But we can save her. He pulled out the microchip, Project Nyx, and tossed it into the river. It vanished with a splash. No more experiments. No more monsters. Linda blinked. What are you doing? Erasing her trail. I'll tell them she didn't survive. Boots squelched nearby. Raven stood shakily, nudging her pup. Dr. Carter met her gaze. Go. Run while you can. She hesitated, then slipped into the fog, pup trailing behind. Moments later, agents arrived. Reyes demanded, where is she? Dr. Carter looked him in the eye. She didn't make it. Thunder drowned the silence. He stared into the mist where Raven disappeared, feeling both loss and peace. She was free. Finally, beyond their reach. Weeks passed. The government inquiry ended. Agents withdrew. Officially, Raven and her litter perished in the storm. Unofficially, she was out there, alive, free, untamed. Dr. Carter often stood at the forest's edge, staring into the green. He'd kept his promise, falsified reports, destroyed data. No one would find her now. Yet sometimes, on quiet evenings, he swore he heard her bark, a low, steady sound like gratitude. Linda joined him one night. Do you think she's all right? He didn't look away. She survived fire, labs, and the people who made her. She'll be fine. She's stronger than any of us. They began leaving food at the treeline, meat, blankets, notes in plastic bags. The food always vanished by morning. Sometimes, paw prints remained, large ones, with smaller ones trailing behind. It was enough. Months later, the shelter returned to its rhythm. New rescues, new adoptions. But Linda and Dr. Carter saw animals differently now, not as helpless, but as survivors. One spring morning, a letter arrived. No return address. Just 7 words in uneven handwriting. Tell the world she was never a monster. Dr. Carter folded it carefully, placing it beside Raven's sealed file. No, he whispered. She wasn't. She was a miracle. That evening, as sunset bathed the fields in gold, a deep, proud bark carried on the wind. He smiled. Somewhere out there, Raven lived free, raising her young beneath open skies, far from cages, far from fear. And though the world would never know her story, one man would tell it. Not as science gone wrong, but as a mother's love that defied everything humanity tried to control. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Raven's courage reminds us that every soul, no matter its origin, deserves freedom, love, and a chance to be more than what they were made to be. Stay tuned for more stories that move you, inspire you, and reveal the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary.